Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chanel Sex Information. Today we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating and important processes in human biology, which is fertilization, the remarkable moment when sperm and egg come together to begin the creation of new life. And in this video we are going to explore it in a detailed yet clear and engaging way so that you can understand not just the scientific facts but also the amazing coordination and precision involved in this natural event. So let us start from the very beginning where we talk about gametes. Gametes are the special reproductive cells that are designed specifically for sexual reproduction. In males this is the sperm which is produced in the testes through the process of spermatogenesis, and in females it is the egg or ovum which is produced in the ovaries through oogenesis. Sperm are tiny cells with a head that contains the genetic material and a tail that propels them forward. They are produced in millions every single day, while eggs are much larger cells, produced in limited numbers, and only one egg is usually released each month in the process called ovulation. Now once the egg is released from the ovary, it enters the fallopian tube and waits for sperm. This is where fertilization usually takes place. But how do sperm even reach the egg? Well, during sexual intercourse sperm are deposited in the female reproductive tract and must travel through the cervix, into the uterus, and all the way up into the fallopian tubes. This journey is extremely difficult, and out of the millions of sperm released only a few hundred or less may reach the vicinity of the egg. This already shows how competitive and selective the process is. Now once sperm approach the egg they encounter a protective layer around the egg called the zona pellucida. The sperm must undergo a special change called capacitation that makes them capable of penetrating this layer. Enzymes from the sperm's acrosome, which is a cap-like structure on the head, help break through the zona pellucida. And finally one lucky sperm fuses with the egg membrane. When this happens the egg immediately initiates a reaction that prevents any other sperm from entering. This is called the cortical reaction, and it ensures that only one sperm successfully fertilizes the egg. Once the sperm has fused with the egg the genetic material from both parents comes together. The sperm contributes 23 chromosomes and the egg also contributes 23 chromosomes, together forming a zygote with the full set of 46 chromosomes. This zygote is now a single cell that contains the blueprint for a new human being. But the story doesn't stop here. After fertilization the zygote begins a series of rapid cell divisions called cleavage, moving slowly down the fallopian tube toward the uterus. Within a few days it becomes a ball of cells called a blastocyst, which will then implant itself into the lining of the uterus. This implantation marks the beginning of pregnancy, so in just a few days the process has transformed a sperm and egg into a developing embryo, and that is the miracle of fertilization. But let's talk more deeply about each stage so that you can visualize how complex it really is. For example, when sperm are ejaculated, they are not immediately able to fertilize the egg. They must undergo physiological changes in the female reproductive tract. This includes changes in the sperm membrane and increased motility which make them hyperactive swimmers. The female body actually helps guide sperm using muscular contractions of the uterus and chemical signals from the egg that attract them. This process is called chemotaxis, and it is like a biological GPS system. Now once fertilization has occurred and the zygote begins dividing, each division does not increase the overall size of the zygote but rather splits it into smaller and smaller cells. This ensures that it can fit properly into the uterus. The blastocyst stage is especially important because it has two groups of cells, the inner cell mass which will become the embryo, and the outer trophoblast cells which will help form the placenta. This placenta is essential for nourishing the growing embryo throughout pregnancy. Another important thing to know is that fertilization also determines the sex of the baby. The egg always carries an X chromosome, but the sperm may carry either an X or a Y. If a sperm carrying an X fertilizes the egg, the result is a female child. If a sperm carrying a Y fertilizes it, the result is a male child. So the sex of the baby is actually determined by the sperm, and this is decided in that very first moment of fertilization. Now one might ask, why is fertilization so crucial? The answer is because it restores the diploid number of chromosomes, ensures genetic diversity through the combination of genes from two parents, and starts the developmental program that leads to a new human being. The process also illustrates how evolution has shaped mechanisms to ensure accuracy, preventing multiple sperm from entering, protecting the egg, and guiding sperm efficiently. It's truly a finely tuned biological orchestra. Now if we think about fertilization in broader terms, it is not only limited to humans. Many animals and plants also undergo fertilization, but the details can differ widely. For example, in some animals fertilization occurs outside the body in water such as fish and amphibians, while in humans and other mammals it is internal, but the underlying principle remains the fusion of gametes to create a new organism. In scientific research, fertilization is also studied in the context of assisted reproductive technologies like in vitro fertilization or IVF. Here the egg is fertilized by sperm in a laboratory setting and then implanted into the uterus. This has given hope to millions of couples facing infertility and shows how science can support natural processes. In our daily understanding, it is important to appreciate fertilization not only as a biological event but also as the foundation of life. It connects us to our origins and highlights the delicate balance required for successful reproduction. So when we review the steps, we see it as a story of selection, endurance, fusion, protection, and growth. And over the course of 30 minutes you can appreciate how much information and coordination is hidden in that single event. The next time you think of fertilization, remember that it is not just a sperm meeting an egg, it is a carefully orchestrated series of events that ensures the continuation of life. And with this detailed explanation, I hope you now have a clearer understanding of how fertilization happens, why it is significant, and what steps follow after. So thank you for watching this video on sex information. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that brings clarity to important biological topics, and I'll see you in the next video where we will continue exploring the wonders of human reproduction and development.